Okay, welcome back. So now you have copied your spreadsheet and enabled the scripts. You've set up your rosters and your rubrics, and now you're ready to actually start a new session. So let's just imagine for a second that you've walked into a new day and you're ready to set up your class for that day. So the first thing I would do is uncheck all, and that's going to mark out all of those check marks in the attendance column. So how I envision this is if you have a smartboard especially, this would be really convenient for you to just project this spreadsheet, this tab onto your board and have it blown up just a little bit bigger maybe on your screen. So that way students, if they walk in your room, can walk up and they can check mark their name. And then that way you don't have to take attendance. It's already in there and you can just go do a quick cleanup pass whenever the bell rings. So we're going to mark who's here today. Say we have 7. Okay, so I have 7 students here today and we're going to be doing factoring trinomials. The 7 students that are here are already going to be counted up right in this cell, so you can just leave that as is. The group size, generally we like groups of 3 when we're doing building thinking classrooms, but you can do 2, 3, or 4. And then you're going to tell it how many problems your students are going to do that day. So let's say I'm going to do 12 problems, and I have a link to a problem set in here, which I'll discuss later. So if you have like a Google Doc or a Google Slide or something like that, you can paste the link in there, and that way it's just kind of easily accessible anytime you're looking at what students are doing that day, or if you want to remember later what problems you were working on. Okay, the rubric that I'm going to use is the new one we created, communication, and then today's date is 8/12/22. Okay, and then the records idea we can wait until the next video when we're ready to push student data out to their records spreadsheet. So once I hit create new session, a whole bunch of stuff is going to run, so you're just going to give it a second. You can already see a new tab down here. Okay, and so it's already set up for you. Here are your groups. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it created a group of 3 because it wasn't divisible by 3. Your 12 problems populated right here. Your problem set that you linked went right there. There's your title, there's your date, all that good stuff. So the whole thing that you set up is now in this session. And what you would project to the students would be today's groups. There's your groups, the exact same groups that are in there. And today's date is already in there. Okay, so it's ready to go. And you would just use this throughout the lesson. So I've set it up to where you can give each problem a green check mark, a yellow like warning triangle, or a red like circle with a slash symbol. And so that's just a quick formative way for you to say, okay, these students completed this problem and they did pretty well. Maybe a yellow for like, ooh, they kind of struggled a little bit on this one and had some more questions. And then a red for, I really had to baby step them through this problem, that kind of thing. So they were really struggling on this problem. And so you would just do this throughout the lesson, and you know, wherever the students left off, maybe they didn't even make it through all of it, that would just tell you where each group got to and how they did. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out because we'll use it on the next video. Let's say they only got to 5. These guys did really good, but then they struggled, or maybe they got off task towards the end or something. Who knows? Okay, you can leave comments on how each group did. So this group persevered the whole time, struggled, and had to walk them through number 4. Who knows? Whatever you want to leave it as a comment for how they did that day. Students got off track at first, got called out early for an appointment. Who knows? Students well as a team, but got track talking towards the end. Something like that. So you're leaving a comment on how those groups did. And then communication, you're going to give them a rating. How well did they communicate as a group, right? So they persevered the whole time, had to walk them through. Let's say they had an 8. They persevered well, they were talking. These guys got off track. I'm going to give them a 7. And then I'm going to give these guys an 8.5 because they did really great at the beginning, but then they kind of lost focus a little bit at the end. Okay, so it's going to total up all of these check marks. So it's going to total up all of these check marks and warning signals, etc. over here, and it's going to give you a quick summary of how they did that day. So then it's going to give you percentages and totals for how many check marks they got, how many yellow warning symbols they got, and how many red circles they got. I'm going to fix this percentage column to be out of how many they did, not how many total problems there were. Right now I think it's out of the total number 12. Okay, so it's got all this stuff recorded in there, and then we're ready to push to student records. So I'll show you that in the next video for how to push all this data out to a separate record.